Ladies and gentlemen in listening land, welcome back to the only podcast for Red Elephants and by Red Elephants. This is Behind the G. I'm Katie B. And for the first time in quite some time, I'm behind a mic and joined by my co-host, Adam Lindsey, athletic director at Gainesville High School, for those that don't know. We're here to talk Big Red sports. We're here to pull the curtain back on what goes into being a now national brand. So, Adam, my man, if we weren't a national brand before, now we are. You know what? How you doing? How we doing?
I'm good. I mean, the last 3 weeks have been the craziest 3 weeks of my career, without a doubt. But hey, wouldn't want to be anywhere else doing anything else.
Yes, and you have proven that. As has Dr. Jeremy Williams. As has Coach Josh Niblett. And speaking of the latter, we will have a vibe check for the first time since before the Brunswick game coming up on Behind the G. And it gets a little emotional. I get a little emotional in the vibe check because, as Adam mentioned, it has been, it's been tough, man.
It is.
Especially when you love a place, and more importantly, you love the people in that place.
Yep.
And it is part of my job to monitor social media. And some of you out there, and I know you're listening right now because you've been paying attention to every single thing we've done. Some of you out there are nasty. And what you say about teenagers is diabolical. And I hope you get coal in your stocking. But more importantly, what you say about our coach.
That you don't know.
That you don't know. You've never had, you don't know. Right. You see a man that wears a really cool white jacket in the playoffs, by the way. That jacket is amazing. But you see a guy who doesn't wear for the game what he wears in warm-ups, and you want to judge him because he changes clothes and say nasty things about him. And when I say nasty, I mean just that. In fact, I reported a Twitter comment yesterday, the Monday of state championship week. Somebody had just said something so out of pocket about our coach, who has shown himself to be exactly who he's always said he was over the course of these last 3 weeks. I say all that. This is not going to be a negative Behind the G. And frankly, my not wanting to do Behind the G the last 3 weeks, the reason we've been absent, and I put it completely on myself, is because my headspace has been so negative regarding all of those outside this building and so mistrusting of everyone outside of our buildings. And that's just not the kind of thing I want to put out when it comes to anything that has Big Red's name on it, the Red Elephant's name on it. So, I don't know if that explains our absence. Maybe it does. I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there listening are nodding your head going, yeah, we get it. But when you're in a negative headspace constantly, and I have been since the Saturday morning after the Brunswick game, you don't want to put that out into the world, especially when
there's enough of it
already, right? So, so we're going to push that aside. And I want to say this. I've made no bones about the fact that Adam Lindsey is my best friend, okay? But we're putting that, he raises his hand, the crowd goes wild. I trust him with more information in my personal life than I've ever trusted anybody with before. And that speaks to his character as a human being, okay? But what he has done as the athletic director at Gainesville High School the last 3 weeks, I've known for a while that he was the best of the best, but I'm also biased because he is my best friend. What he's shown from a leadership standpoint the last 3 weeks puts him in an untouchable category. And hopefully, we don't ever have to have as Red Elephants anyone else who needs to prove themselves in such a category, because we don't go through what we've been through the last 3 weeks. But Adam, as a lifelong Red Elephant, my man, I love you, but I got to say, thank you for what you did. And thank Dr. Jeremy Williams for what he's done. I mean, it is the two of you, and it is, of course, Josh Niblett. But, and here's the thing, guys, It ain't about a football game. It's about the kids who put on our football uniforms.
First and foremost.
And we have preached from day one that that's who we're here for. And when people show you who they are as our leadership has done the last 3 weeks, dadgummit, do you believe us now? Adam, in so much as you can and in so much as you want to, the mindset you've had the last 3 weeks.
Well, first of all, thank you for all the kind words, and
last time you'll hear them, my man. So suck it up.
Don't want to get terribly emotional, which I can do, but I've had a bunch of people reach out and express their support and thank us for supporting the kids, and I just want to say number one, it was never a question.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, Dr. Williams and I and Josh, have talked, ad nauseum over the last 3 weeks about everything, and it was just never a question.
Right.
Like, we were going to stand up for our kids because we knew that was the right thing to do.
Right.
So that part was easy. There was a lot of difficult parts involved, but
Sure.
the decision to do what we did was not one that we wanted to do, but it wasn't a question.
Yeah.
We were going to do everything we had to do to support our kids, take it to whatever nth we had to do, and argue in front of whoever we had to argue to do what was right by our kids. And, I don't know if any good will come out of it. I think it can and it should, given, the association and the decisions that the member-led decision or member-led committee, makes. I'm not convinced it's going to make a difference. I'm not convinced that they're going to fix things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid they're going to just find a harder line to hold
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
And
yeah.
even as I've gotten a ton of phone calls from different ADs across the state that, congratulated us, thanked us, because there's, the smart people realize that it could have been them.
Oh, yeah.
When I talked to I've had a ton of conversations with the Rome AD. Him and I have gotten pretty close over the last month or so. He said that exact same thing. Like, fortunately we were in a situation, being a one school system. It has nothing to do with being a city school. It has really everything to be a one school system. We're able to do a lot of things that somebody in a Cobb, Fulton, Gwinnett wouldn't be able to do. They wouldn't have the support from the board office to be able to do those kind of things. But for like us in Rome, and if Rome would end up in the same situation, they would have had to do the same thing. And us standing up for our kids is going to make it easier for other schools to do that when they're put in that situation,
Right.
Where the situation is not handled how it should have been. Fortunately, it all worked out for us in the end. At this point, we got to use everything with it.
No doubt.
And we're very fortunate and very lucky from a football standpoint to have done everything we needed to do on the field to get us to where we're going tomorrow night. And it's
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. Resilience is a word that comes to mind, but it's not a word that really
It doesn't say enough.
It doesn't say enough for what our young men and the men charged towards leading them have proven they're full of, right? And I also want to and listen. I go back to why we've been absent. Enough is. There can be such a thing as market saturation, right? And we have been met with so much support, yes, but also so much negativity. This is such a positive space for us that I didn't want it to infiltrate this. And I was a little wordier in saying that earlier, but that's what I feel, right? And so when we're sitting here doing this, and I understand there are going to be people out there listening to this particular episode of Behind the G, because it is the first one in the aftermath of an incident that really took the state, the Southeast, the nation by storm. I know that there are going to be people out there listening that aren't red elephants. Or maybe they're our adopted red elephants now. And if so, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. But people who are out there just so they can find the one thing we say to post negatively about, the one thing we say that doesn't fit into their narrative of who they think we are, or Coach Niblett is, or whatever. We stuck up for the kids who did nothing wrong, not the ones who did.
Yeah.
And I want you to clearly hear me. We stuck up for the kids who did nothing wrong, not the ones who did. And for everyone out there who's a rules are rules person, right? Rules are rules. Rules are rules.
That's not a rule.
That's not a rule.
Sorry. Every time somebody says that, I have to follow that with
but
that.
Adam, that's been but rules are rules.
It is.
And so explain that's not a rule part.
Well, I'm going to come across as a real dork here, but
Adam,
I know.
this is like our 20th episode. It's happened. It's written.
2.71D3 states that players that leave the sideline are subject to a fine from the GHSA executive director. It does not say are automatically ejected. It just says are subject to fine.
Right.
2.71D4 states, it's very wordy, and I don't have the exact off the top of my head, but it says players that get involved in a fight and leave the sideline and are ejected are subject to the sit-out rule.
Right.
Well, we had nobody ejected on that Friday night.
Correct.
So that and are ejected. The and is the actually, when this is
the key word.
This is where I got into it with the GHSA's
Right.
attorney. Like, buddy, you wrote this. You put that language in there.
Correct.
And if it says and or if it says or, it changes the complete meaning of that. So in our argument, that whole thing to me clearly says we didn't have anybody ejected.
Right.
The officials did not eject anybody from Gainesville, so therefore we should have nobody subject to the sit-out rule. And then you go down to 2.72A, which says that game officials are the only ones that can eject players from a game, and then it's not reviewable. Like the bylaws just contradict each other.
Right. And contradict the initial decision that was made.
Correct. Yeah. And again, then you go back to we were able to find video from the Macon game that happened in August that showed that it was not handled. It was a very similar situation. Third quarter, a fight breaks out. And it amongst a couple of kids. The officials ejected 3 from one team, 4 from another. Bench clearing, very much, similar. And the GHSA only made 7 kids sit out. So not handled anywhere near in the same ballpark.
Right.
When we had a total of 80 kids that they were subject to sit out. So inconsistently handled. Fortunately, once we were able to point that out, actually more than anything, that had been pointed out to them earlier.
Yeah.
But once it made it to social media and to media,
oh sure,
they were forced to deal with it in that scenario. So they came to the light and said, we didn't handle these things consistently, and we need to fix that. So, hate that it had to come to all that. Again, I've always been a supporter of the GHSA and the GHSA office more than the member-led portion of it.
Sure.
So fortunately, they made the call and said, hey, we didn't handle this correctly, and we need to fix it. We need to get things going. So appreciate them coming to that realization. Wish it had come a week earlier, but hey, everything happens for a reason, and happens but it's got us to where we're at today. So
yeah, and listen, everything happens for a reason. I love that you just said that. Even bad stuff, like, right, everything happens for a reason. And I don't know. I think our team, our football team, good enough to make a run to the state title. Absolutely. Without some adversity, especially without this level of adversity. Yeah. But the way that it forced a team that already had a great connection to be even more connected, to really just rely on the people that were in their room, but more importantly, to understand that they had an entire community standing firm with them.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. Not only has our community showed up and showed out for all of our games, they've made no doubt about it that they were going to put more butts in the stands for us than the home team was going to. But the way that the community has shown their support for our players, for our coaches, every once in a while the kids need to see that.
They do.
And
more than every once in a while, in my opinion. They do.
We shouldn't have to have something like this to happen to do that.
Sure.
But also too, I think it's kind of crazy that it did happen on the Langston Hughes game.
Yeah.
Which we saw that was a possibility on the bracket. It was circled in everybody's mind.
Right.
A little bit of payback.
Right.
For the state championship game. 4 years ago. So that game was charged emotionally for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And our kids came out and made no bones about it.
Man, let me tell you what. So here's the thing. For anyone who has watched the Gainesville sideline, and if you do, stop and get your eyes on the actual game. But for anyone who has watched the Gainesville sideline, you've got your impassioned people, and then you've got the people who are your subtle observers. Maybe they pump a fist, but you and Dr. Williams are you're always there, but you're the stoic, just you can't tell if you're happy, if you're sad, you're there, you're watching, maybe you smile. Everyone. Me, on the other hand, I am in the end zone, ready to hit somebody, jumping up and down.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. Okay, so we've got you, Langston Hughes. We get the fumble, and I'm charging down the sideline to get to where I thought it was going to be a couple plays before we scored, but to get to the end zone in which we score. And Kareem throws that beautiful pass to legend Wilmot. And we score on the first play. We get a turnover on their first play from scrimmage, recover a fumble, and then we score on our first play from scrimmage. And you and Dr. Williams, and I'm standing behind you. You don't know this. You and Dr. Williams both jump up, arms in the air, and just And I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah,
this is different. And listen, the release that I think happened for all of us,
absolutely,
in those two moments, where it was and. We use this hashtag all the time, right? Still Gainesville.
Yeah.
That release that happened, that it was oh, okay, we're back.
Yes. Yeah. We were able to put all of the crap
right.
from the previous weeks behind us and say, okay, now we're just playing football.
And then we got back to our regularly scheduled programming, which was stoic and stoicer, and crazed female. We got back to what we naturally do. But in all seriousness, as a lifelong Red Elephant, as a lifelong member of this community, praise the Lord and pass the biscuits. My parents made that happen back in 1981. I have never been more proud to be a Red Elephant. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
I've never been more proud to be a Red Elephant than I am right now. And it's because of your leadership. It's because of Dr. Williams' leadership. And it's because of a thing I've been speaking on for 4 years. And that's our football coach.
Yep.
I told you he was going to change our community. The first time I met him, I looked at a lot of you and said he's going to change our community. Now, I didn't want to have to go through all this to prove it. But lo and behold, here we are, and it's happened. And we've got another shot to win a state title in football in his tenure, his short 4-year tenure. And we're going to talk to him about that coming up. But Adam, I want to specifically talk about this community and the way that they have shown up with send-offs.
Yeah.
And listen, it translated into showing up for our flag football team with their quarterfinal send-off.
Yes. Yep.
And what a wonderful thing that was, that they won their first 2 rounds. Yep. And yes, there was an incident that happened there. No, we're not going to get into it, but we fought for our kids there too.
Yeah.
Fought for our kids there too. So anyway, but it's translated into showing up for our number 1 ranked boys basketball team. Yep. And our girls basketball team is sitting at 2-1 in region play. There's been a trickle down effect that's happened.
And I've always said, 2 things. Number one, and Dr. Williams, I say this all the time. Dr. Williams always has a comment every time I do. Gainesville is a community that unabashedly cares about athletics.
Yes.
It's very, very important here, which is why I'm here. It's why Josh is here. It's why Dr. Williams is here. So we always know that, when it's time, they're going to be there. When it's time, they're going to be loud. Mm-hmm. When it's time, they're going to show up and show out. And
uplift when necessary. And uplift.
And they've done that. No need goes unmet.
Nope.
Whether that's, finding suits for our kids to wear, to the game on Wednesday.
Myself and Kim Fulmore worked on that Saturday while we were sitting at basketball.
Making sure our kids get fed every opportunity. Coming up with, just anything that our kids need, our community makes no bones about it.
But also paying for hotel room,
Yes.
the way that they've stepped up to make sure our kids have a nice place to stay for the state championship,
The amount of phone calls, whether it started immediately right after the game at Rome, people coming up, hey, just let us know what you need.
How can we help? Yep.
Yes, and that is our community, and that's what makes it so special. That's why people want to be here. That's why kids want to be here.
Yeah.
So
why their parents want them here.
Super thankful for that. But I'm going to get on the second side of that too. Football sets the tone for a school. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what school you go to.
Right.
I will argue till the day I die. If you go to a school whose football team is unsuccessful, it affects the daily life of the school. If you hear, we're getting ready to play, as I said before, 15 games over 18 weeks is taking up the entire first semester. This school right now has more school pride than I feel like it's had in the last 9 years that I've been here. And it does roll into other things, as we've talked about with flag football and them having their amazing first year, making it to the quarterfinals. Talking about girls basketball, our number one ranked team, basketball team in the state in all classifications. Mm-hmm. It rolls over. It's going to roll into the rest of second semester. So it's just so hugely important to have that big start right there. And I know we're not really going to talk about basketball today, but I do want to make sure everybody knows Lanierland starts on Saturday.
Yeah, wow.
And also too, I was so hopeful that we would have the opportunity to have a Lanierland special, and let's kind of break down the bracket. It's not that time.
No.
There are other things going on that are and it is what it is. Well, maybe we'll be able to do that after the fact.
So this is the crazy, folks, listen, and again, the when all is said and done, the onus does fall on myself and on Adam, more so a little bit on me. Adam's had a lot on his plate the last month to be proactive in making sure this show gets done, produced, and out when we say it's going to be. Other things took priority the last few weeks. Yeah. We had a schedule. That we
the best
thought
laid plans.
We had a schedule. We thought, and truth be told, this episode was supposed to be Lanierland. We were supposed to have Coach White on and Coach Gibbons on.
Well, but I'm just being frankly honest, and no disrespect to anybody. This is the biggest thing going on in Gainesville right now.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
And I'm pointing out the obvious, but my more point is
even to our basketball coaches, this is the biggest thing going on.
They're canceling games to make sure they're not missing something. And so none of that is any disrespect to basketball or any wrestling or any of those sports going on right now. We want to give this event, this opportunity, everything that we can possibly give it. We'll pick up on basketball, and we're going to give them everything they can once that time comes.
Absolutely. I want us to win so badly Wednesday night.
Yes.
And not just because I'm a lifer, and not just because I love Coach Niblett and his staff, and the way we love these boys and this team and their connectivity and the way that they play for each other, the way they play for the G on their, way that they play for us. It's not, I want to win so badly so that the GHSA has to hand us this trophy. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I've heard multiple people say.
And yes, I did just slam something down on the table after.
I've heard multiple people say, what would an awkward trophy presentation that would be? No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not going to be awkward.
It's not going to be awkward whatsoever. I'll say this. Dr. Scott, the GHSA executive director, I probably talked to him 7 times over the last 2 weeks,
right.
And they're all great conversations. He called me the other day to just wish us good luck.
Yeah.
So there's no. I'd like to say there's no ill will there. But if that happens, ain't nobody going to be thinking about it other than
no.
Dadgummit, give me that trophy.
That's right. That's right. Other than the woman who continues to comment on every positive post we put out. Anyway, as we wrap up our little intro before we get to the vibe check, I think I speak for all of us here when I say to everyone out there listening, whether you're listening to find that thing that's negative, So you can post it on social media, or whether you're listening because you're an adopted red elephant, and again, welcome. We're happy to have you here. Whether you're listening because you've been a red elephant your whole life, or whatever the case may be. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
No press is bad press, as they say. We can get mired in the minutia of negativity. We've chosen not to do that, and instead create a very positive movement from everything that has gone on. And truth be told, that kind of happened organically because of the incredible support that our athletes, first and foremost, our coaches, our administrators, our board, our superintendent have gotten from people you would not even fathom. It's been from the bottom of my heart. Listen, I played a very, very small role in any of this. I say thank you, but I know that I'm echoing the sentiments of Adam.
It's been absolutely amazing. I can't. It's been overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
You and I have talked a bunch. I mean, the last couple of weeks have been emotional for a bunch of different reasons, and I'm with you though. If you want a list of the number of reasons why I want to win on Wednesday night, we would be here long through the game. It means a lot to this community. It means a lot to our coaches and our kids, and I want it so badly for them. And
would, even if the last 3 weeks hadn't been what they were, it'd mean a lot. But because of what they've been, it makes it even more special. Listen, this is the state championship edition, baby, of Behind the G. Again, I'm always proud to sit next to Adam, never more so than right now. I'm always proud to be a red elephant. Dadgummit, never more so than right now. And tomorrow night, when we take the field at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that pride will increase infinitely, regardless of the outcome. But if I know our boys, if I know our coaches, they're going to have a lot to say about that outcome and about what happens coming on back to Gainesville. We got the vibe check coming up next, folks. Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah. We're good. Folks, we'll see you at the Mercedes-Benz on Wednesday night. 7:30 is your kickoff. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're ready to show up and show out for our football team as they take on Thomas County Central for the Class 5A state title. The vibe check with Coach Josh Niblett coming up next. So it was on August 15th after a lightning delay set us back 2 hours in the aftermath of a torrential downpour. We got our first look at the 2025 Red Elephant football team. We beat Marietta that night. That's neither here nor there. I look back, I take you back to set up what a metaphor that first Friday night of the football season became in the 4 months and 1 day since. It was written. We had to sit through a storm to show who we were. We had to sit through a storm to show what we were capable of. To play, we had to be patient. We had to stay focused in uncertainty. It's been a minute since we've checked the vibes of Gainesville football with Coach Josh Niblett. That's been for a myriad of reasons. At the forefront is this. We were in a time of uncertainty. We were in a proverbial storm. We were patient through it, though. We stayed focused. And in doing so, and in the aftermath of it, we've shown who we were. We've shown who we are. We've shown what we're capable of. And Wednesday night at 7:30, Big Red's going to play Thomas County Central for the Class 5A state championship, the second time Red Elephant football has played for a state championship in the short 4-year tenure of our coach. We'll be playing in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium instead of the Georgia State Stadium or whatever it is they call that building now. And we're happy we're going to be doing it. Coach, what's going on, my man?
Oh, man, I'm just blessed to be here. Thanks for having me on. And so, look forward to talking with you about the time period that, we hadn't been on. Because it feels like a long, long time ago. I mean, as a staff the other day, we were talking about Dunwoody, and we were like, that seemed like
forever,
a year ago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a blessing. To God be the glory to wake up today and for us to have this opportunity. And, we just got to go make the most of it.
I've wanted to ask, and again, I say myriad of reasons that we haven't been on. We haven't had a podcast since the week before Thanksgiving.
Right.
And that's something you all heard Adam and I talk about earlier. But there's this one moment I got to know about. And we're not going to rehash anything that occurred in the immediate aftermath of the Brunswick game, except us then winning again and being in the state championship game. But I got to know, your team gets the final say. We get the final say that we get to play Langston Hughes. What was it like to go in that room and tell those boys they get another opportunity?
Well, I was proud of our guys the week before. Even when there was a lot of uncertainty of, not knowing, not playing, who we're playing with, and I think that was probably the biggest thing was just the connection our kids have and the consistency of them showing up every day, not knowing. The Tuesday was the appeals deal, and I had to miss practice for that. I've only missed one other practice in my 29 years of coaching, and that was because I was so sick I couldn't get up out of the bed. And so, that was tough. So, everybody's just kind of – but our kids handled it well. And so then the next day we got back to practice on that Wednesday and probably had one of our better practices we've had all year on that Wednesday. Thanksgiving was on that Thursday, so – we were able to talk about the things that we were thankful for. We still kept the schedule the same as if we were going to play on a Friday, even though we knew it was postponed. And then we came in on Friday. And then, we got the news, on Sunday or Monday that, we were going to play on Friday. And, I think just the elation of everybody just being able to take a deep breath and being like, okay, now we're back to a normal schedule. We play Friday, let's get back to our routine. And that's what we did. Got back to our routine, didn't really talk anymore about it, and knew we had to lock in and focus on a really, really good Langston Hughes team, who at that time was ranked number 1 in the state.
Well, first of all, Coach, if I can jump in here.
Oh, listen, that's fine with me.
First of all, Coach, just, from me personally, from Rail of a Nation, just, thank you for getting us back here. It's been 4 years. It's been a long 4 years. I know this means a lot to you and your staff to get us here to this situation. But talk to us a little bit about 3 games in 12 days. What is that like for you as preparation for the team and then from the player standpoint?
Well, I want to tell you, first of all, thank you for your leadership. And those were 4 of the toughest weeks I've probably ever been through, but it was special for you to be here every day. And, we spent a lot of time together. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that and I love you. And that was big for me. So I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, just when you go through 13, Lord have mercy. The first week was fine. I wasn't really worried about the second week just because we had played on a Friday before and then played on a Thursday, so I was good with that. This is the week that's kind of a little bit different just because, now you're cut 2 days short from a normal 2 week. But I think we've done a good job of making sure our kids are healthy, fresh. You get to this point in time, like if you're not going to play physical, it ain't going to matter. Yeah. So our biggest thing is we got to get to the race, and we got to get to the race in good shape. And so that's what we're doing, and I felt like our guys have had a really, really good week. It's just something different than I've ever been a part of. But, this story's been different than anything I've ever been a part of, too. So, it doesn't surprise me that this is part of the story. So I'm excited about that fact.
I want to, of course, talk about our performance at Rome last week because it was remarkable, as was the performance at Langston Hughes. Maybe we'll get into that, too, but that also seems like it was forever ago. I want to get into Rome, but Adam asked the question about the games and three games in 2 weeks, and I was about to ask this, and it's interesting where you went in the immediate aftermath of his question. Coach, you came to Gainesville partly because of the vision you saw from our leadership. Dr. Jeremy Williams, the superintendent, and then, of course, Adam as our athletic director. So you came here based on the vibes you got, as it were, folks, from our leadership. And then you get into these moments where if you don't have good leadership, these are the moments it shows in, right?
Right.
You can make it to a state championship without a great superintendent, a great athletic director.
Yep.
But with what we've been through over the course of the 4 weeks, you don't get through that without great leadership. You just mentioned Adam and said it beautifully. I don't know that there's any way better to say it. But the leadership as a whole of this school system, of Gainesville High School in particular, we introed this vibe check talking about storms. How did that help?
Well, Dr. Williams is a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so I had an old athletic director that when I had Hoover called me the other day, and he was talking to a superintendent that at his school system that he's at now. And he goes, man, isn't it neat? And Andy was kind of like, what do you mean neat? He goes, isn't it neat how Josh has the connection with his superintendent? Because he was out in front. Yeah. And we were all in this thing together. And I can't say enough about his leadership in the school system and how blessed we are to have him here. For me to be able to, yesterday he walks up to the office and comes to see me. He's at practice the other morning. And we're freezing death outside and he's there, this place means a lot to him and he's invested in it. Yeah. And you got to be at a place that loves winning, all right? And winning's important. You do. I don't care what anybody says. It's about winning in life. It's winning in school. It's winning in the school system. It's winning, academically, athletically, fine arts, whatever it is. And he has that vision for everybody that, we want to win at everything. We want to be champions in all we do. Mm-hmm. And then he makes you know that you're supported. And I think that's the biggest thing that he does an excellent job of is not only just his leadership, but how much he supports you too, because I think that's part of leadership also. Absolutely.
So speaking of leadership, let's go back to Rome, right? Let's get off the topic of the last 4 weeks and get us into the present. Let's go back to Rome. I just don't know that there's been a more dominant performance in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
totally
you know what I mean?
Totally
I just don't know that I've seen Gainesville football be more dominant in the playoffs. And it began and it ended with our offensive line and our run game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just, my hats are off to everybody in our building. You come off a Langston Hughes win, and that was big because there was a lot of, mental in the Langston Hughes game. You're coming back. Are we ready? We had a bye. We usually don't show up well after a bye. Then we score on the first play of the game and we get a turnover, So that kind of changed Adam's thought on that for sure. Because he has a tendency to bring that up every now and then when we have a bye. But then they'd never been down at halftime.
You just tried to prove a point, didn't
I did. And I think I did.
He did prove it. Yeah, he didn't try. He did.
And then they had never been down at halftime. And then just, to go to Langston Hughes on the road, we had to walk a mile to get into the stadium. So we had to find some kind of bench over there to sit at during halftime. You go through all that stuff. It comes down to the end of the game. You have to recover 2 onside kicks. So that's emotional, right? Oh, we only got 6 days. Can we handle it? Well, when we got out to Tuesday practice, I kind of felt like we weren't as crisp.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, to walk through the next day, there was a different frame of mind. Like they knew it was coming. And I challenged our guys all week because when you cut the Rome film on, they have a brand of football that they want to play, and it's a physical brand of football. Mm-hmm. You watch them. They had a ring, and I think they did a little board drill or something before the game down on one end. That's how they want their brand to be. Yeah. They want people to respect them for the physicality. And when you watch film, they do that. So I challenged our guys, look, man, this is what they want to be. This is who we are, right? And so I just loved what our guys were able to do. And our guys, I think the thing is when you watch us on film, we're big and we can run. But I think when we're in person, it's just different. Right, and that's a credit to our players at the level they play at. Yeah. Defensively, we own the line of scrimmage. Their quarterback's normally used to rushing for 200 yards in a game and throwing for 200 yards. Defensively, they don't give up very many rushing yards. We rush for 298. And then at the end of the game, to be able to, even though it's running clock, to take it from 11 minutes to 0. And doing that just by running the football to win the game. I can't say enough. It was a total team effort by everybody. And, boy, didn't the community show up. And it was awesome. And so, now we got to move on. I know you may ask me another question about Rome, but I'm ready to move on. But it was very satisfying for me because of the physicality of the game. I pride ourselves on being physical. And I just thought we were physical and we enforced our will on them. And that's what you want to be able to do.
Absolutely. And Rome, I was excited about the matchup just because two city schools. We have a whole lot of similarities between the two, and they're known for physical football. So I was certainly excited about that, and I think that was to me the biggest thing for us to come out and play at a higher level than what they did. And as KDB said,
and I don't make it about opponents, but like if you go back and look at them early in the year, they only lost the 2 games they lost were Creekside, who just won the state championship last night, and in Carrollton. And their Carrollton game they should have won. I mean, they lost 28-24. So I got that in the back of my mind.
Well, no doubt.
I try not to compare scores.
Sure.
But I think the neat thing was, too, is we went against each other in the padded camp a little bit. So there was some familiarity there. And then I just think our guys are continuously getting better every week and playing and peaking when they're supposed to. We got to peak one more time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Here, I'm not going to ask another question about Rome, interestingly enough. Well, I guess maybe it is, but it's not. Look, go back. I remember opening up social media on the Saturday after the Brunswick game, and I refused to put on a Gainesville shirt that day because the things being said about us were so vile, right? And then the narrative shifted when more information came out, as narratives are wont to do, right? The narrative shifted, and suddenly people were very much so in our corner, as it were, people you would not expect. But the way that this community has shown up for our boys, has shown up for our football team in over the course of the last 4 weeks. But most especially at Langston Hughes, at Rome, people physically in seats cheering. And we end every vibe check with you shouting out the community and saying, hey, come on and come be. And man, Coach, the support you all have gotten, the support we've gotten from the Red Elephants has just been remarkable over the last 4 weeks. Talk a little bit about what that has meant to you.
Well, when you go through adversity, you find out, what you got, right? And I think for the most part, but I think it's at a whole different level right now. Yeah. I mean, it's at a different level right now than it was game 3 or game 4. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care what you say. But I guess that's kind of how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And I think sometimes you can take things for granted a little bit. And I think what happened is when we went through all that adversity, it made us kind of recheck ourselves and our priorities and our values and what we appreciate and what we're thankful for, what we have gratitude for, and how much we need to make sure that we do have gratitude for it and support it and are a part of it. Like our seniors. I mean, I told them yesterday, I said, look, that was your last high school practice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your last high school practice.
Yeah.
And when Xavier was a freshman, we went to the finals, and I mean, you would have thought. He told me that. He said, I thought we was going to win it every year, And then, but what I'm saying is like sometimes I think you can take things for granted, and I mean, I'm not going to talk about where I've been before, but when I was at Hoover, I think that got a little bit of the deal to where people took it for granted. They just expect you to win every week. You win. Hey, we'll just come to the big games or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're a community and you support kids and you love the program, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It can't be about circumstances. It can't be about who you're playing. It's got to be about, hey, why am I supporting the program? Why I want to be a part of this? And I think it's everybody from alumni that's played here, Letterman that's played here. It's people just outside the community that want to be a part of what we're doing. So it's a pretty special time, and we need to continue to grow this and continue to take it to another level.
I got to tell you what, I'm not going to take for granted these days.
No.
Because it's just special. It's special to see the community I've grown up in to show up the way that they have.
And if you're taking it for granted, then you're not really understanding how hard it is to do.
Oh,
how everything has to fall into line, and there has to be luck on your side. You have to play really well for I mean, again, at the end of the day, we're getting ready to have played 15 games over 18 weeks.
Right.
A lot of things have to go your way. So if you're taking it for granted, then you're not really understanding how hard it is to get back to a state championship.
And when you got kids that are our kids' age, I mean, you really think about after July the 4th, I mean, you're hitting it running.
Yeah.
But I mean, since August the 1st, which was the Jamboree game against McEachern, which seems like 4 years ago, we've been doing this thing for 21 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, enough time to have five bye weeks.
5 bye weeks. Yes. 5.
That's that's big. That's more than an NFL season.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane. So, Coach, all right, Thomas County Central, 14-0.
Yep.
I go back to social media and it's so funny, but the Langston Hughes, all the Langston Hughes fans were like, Langston Hughes is going to roll y'all. And then all the Rome fans, Rome's going to roll y'all. And now we're getting it from Thomas County Central. This is a team, though, that has shown it rolls people. So what are they bringing to the table?
Well, when you cut the film on, they look like a Power 5 college team. So size, strength, speed, everything you got, depth. They run a guy out that's 6'5", 6'4", 285. They're running another guy in that might weigh 5 more pounds than he does. So, it's going to be one of those deals to where, we've got to be really good on first down on offense and defense. Their running back rushed for 394 last week and 4 touchdowns, which is hard to do on air. And he did it versus Roswell. And I think the biggest thing when you look at them is they're very explosive on offense. They got guys that can roll on the perimeter that are, and they're big up front. Just like what you figure you're going to see.
Sure.
I don't know if we were thinking we were going to play somebody that wasn't any good, but I just don't, you don't get to this spot and not be good.
Exactly.
Right.
And, I do feel like, there's some problems that they present to you that you got to understand where your matchups are. And we do. And we have a good plan. Our kids understand our plan, and our kids understand what we got. And so the thing I like about our guys is our guys will play together, and our guys are going to play extremely hard.
Yeah.
And that's something you can't measure. This is not going to be a beauty contest. It ain't a weightlifting contest. It ain't a track meet. We don't need to let it turn into any of those.
Yeah.
It's a football game. And so we got to play physical. We got to play hard. And the other thing is we got to get it to the fourth quarter. They haven't had to play in the fourth quarter as far as like truly having to win a game in the fourth. There's been people that have taken them to halftime. They've been down at halftime. There's been people that have played them close and been tied up in the third quarter. But for some reason, like right at the end of the third or the fourth, they end up scoring and nobody else can score on them.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much kind of the deal. And so we've talked about our guys know the elements. Our deal is we just want to finish well. We want to finish well. Like we've come too far not to finish, right? And so with that being said, like what does that look like? Well, we got to finish the game well too. Mm-hmm. We got to make them finish. We got to put them in a situation they hadn't been in for 15 weeks. Yeah. And that is make them have to finish, make them have to go make a play in the fourth quarter. And if we'll do that, then we'll be fine. And if we'll do that, then I like our chances for sure.
So, Coach, I'll be honest. I'm going to let KDB ask questions about Thomas County Central. I don't care about them. I want to talk about us.
None taken.
No. So your first year here went 14-0, went to state championship, your first trip to the state championship in Georgia. Now that's your second trip. You're an avid note taker.
Yep.
You're an avid reflector. Mm-hmm. What did you take from that first trip and walked away and said, next time I want to do this differently. I want to do this better. Because, this is not just it's not a normal.
Probably those guys from Langston Hughes. Wow, what a team they had, huh?
Yeah. Well, but it's also another team that we looked at that time and said they look like a Power 5 team.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think it's as much that you have to adjust schedule here, schedule there. I'm kind of a guy that just like I'll take notes, but then I'm more of a that year guy. So like this year presented it different because we only had 6 days. Yeah. Whereas last year it was Friday to Friday or Friday, whatever it was, but we had plenty amount of time to prepare. So I had to go back and look at it differently from that standpoint. Where we're staying at is closer to the Bends. Yeah. So instead of us having to get on a bus, drive 20 minutes to Georgia State to watch part of a game, drive back, we're going to be able to walk over, walk back. There's some things that we're trying to do to make sure that our kids, are going to make sure they're physically ready to go so we get them plenty of rest. We kind of moved the walk through instead of it being early in the morning. We moved it to midday on game day. So that way we can let them sleep in another hour. Yeah. I think that's going to help us too. I think the biggest thing for me, it's not the week kind of leading up because I think when you get to this point, we'd already rehearsed a 6-day prep the week before. So when Friday rolled around last week, when the game was over with and we came home, we didn't get home till really, really late. Mm-hmm. But we still had our kids come in at 9 because our other students were coming in at 10 to watch the film. And it gave them the afternoon off. And then we gave them Saturday off, but the coaches came in and worked on Saturday. So when we came in on Sunday, we treated it like a Monday, but like a Tuesday with helmets on. Then yesterday, We went straight Tuesday practice with gear on, but we had to go in the afternoon because it was so cold yesterday morning. And then we had our walkthrough this morning inside, and then the game prep. Where it changes at, though, is once you pull the bus up to the stadium, and you're going to have more time before the game to prepare, to get ready to go, to be anxious, to be stressed out, than you will like the normal time for warm-ups. Because you're going to get 30 minutes of warm-ups, and when that 30 minutes is up, they're ready to kick it off.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it ain't like you get to come out, activate like we do, go back in, change, I mean, I'm down about that. I'm going to have to wear what I'm wearing in the game on the warm-ups. Jeez.
Oh, my goodness. All the comments.
I know. That's why I put it out there, because I want it. I want it. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Isn't it nice to not have to worry about the weather this week?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. But I tell you, the one thing that worried me, everybody talks about how hot it is in there.
Yeah.
That it's extremely hot. And Travis, Nolan and I are really, really good friends. So Travis and them played the game before us, and he's like, I learned my lesson to you last year because, their kids were so hyped up for warm-ups and all that. And, so he's going to go out without his pads on. You look at stuff like that. You just want to make sure.
And it was crazy to see watching the games last night to see kids cramping up. I mean, in December.
Well, and the thing is, like they say, it's hot in there. And James Smith-Williams, who played for the Falcons, is on our staff.
Yeah.
He made sure that he came and talked to me about that. Before he says, Coach, just want to let you know, just make sure these kids are hydrating early because, it is going to be hot in there. So, yeah. Oh, I know everybody's going to say something about the comment I made for not changing clothes, but hey,
you got to give them something to talk
about. I got to
about.
love it. Well, I ain't going to have the white jacket on. So, somebody will think we're probably not going to win because I ain't wearing a white jacket.
Well,
so.
I tell you what, the number of phone calls I've gotten about that white jacket.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, look, it's an honor to be playing in this game.
Yes.
I've had the opportunity to coach in a good many of these games, but I tell our players, like, look, you're not promised to get back, man. There's a lot that goes on to get to this point. And this year, there's a lot that went on to get to
sometimes
this
more
point.
than others.
Well, and the perfect comment to that is, look, it's just taken us 4 years, and we thought we had some really good teams in between there, and life happened, and we weren't able to do it. So as you said, you can't take it for granted. You got to respect every opportunity you get.
No doubt.
As we wrap up the vibe check, and hopefully we'll have one more in us in the aftermath of the state championship game Wednesday night, again 7:30 Mercedes-Benz. For those of you who don't know, as we wrap up the vibe check, Coach, I don't know if you got any last minute words. I know we're going to have a ton of people there for us on Wednesday night, more than you could imagine, and you and your guys deserve every single bit of it. Just proud as hell of y'all.
Well, you need to stop crying, please. I'm gonna look this way so I don't cry.
But hey, she's right. Our fans have shown up every week and made the home side or the visiting side look like the home side.
Well, and I have to say this too, and I appreciate it. I do. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate this team. Every team's special. Every staff's special. But I told somebody last week after the game, they're like, what's the difference in this group? When did you know? I was like, I knew when we did mindset, and every day I watch them walk around in our building. I said, look, our guys love football, but they love playing the game of football more together. Like they love playing together. Like they just love each other. And that's a credit to them, and that's why we got a shot, I tell everybody, like everybody will count us out. They've been counting us out all along, but I'm just going to tell you this. And I have the mic so I can say what I want, I guess. And you can take it out if you want. But I know if God's in it, it ain't over. And I know this. I know that he who started a good thing in you will finish a good thing in you. And the revival that God has created in our community, just reviving people from darkness to light, and then seeing things from a different perspective, to be a part of something that's a bigger cause than just themselves. Like you can't explain that. And when you can't explain it, then it don't mean you can't predict it. So you can't predict what's about to happen. I'm just telling you. And we believe in that in our locker room. We do. We believe in it. And we got faith and trust in it, and we're going to go out and play extremely hard so we can finish well. So I want to tell everybody, hey, you need to be there. Don't just watch it on TV. Anybody can watch it on TV. You got an opportunity to be there. You'll want to be there and be a part of this and see this in person. I can promise you that. So I wish everybody the best of luck. God bless you. Safe travels, and go Big Red.